Urbanology.com is a web application that allows everyone inside of a neighborhood or inside of a city to do something that they haven't been able to do very easily before, and that is develop their neighborhood themselves in a self-organized way that is community-driven and based on the needs of the community. I'm going to present a particular aspect of urbanology, which is a kind of geographic conversation that people have on the way to developing projects. I'm going to go to a particular city here. I'm going to go to Eugene, Oregon. A number of neighborhoods have been defined here. And neighborhoods are kind of ad hoc things that residents define in order to make a certain thing happen or draw attention to a certain idea about something that needs to be done inside of the city. In this particular case, this one was inspired by this pattern that they can find under helpful solutions, which they're trying to reduce the amount of car traffic in a neighborhood and increase the amount of foot traffic between two very highly foot trafficked areas, and that's the University of Oregon and the downtown, that are connected along a corridor, 13th Avenue, which should be a promenade pleasant for people to walk up and down. If we want to increase people's traversing from one district to the next, we have to make that area more dense, more interesting, and more obviously foot amenable. If you look under here, under neighborhoods that have been defined, the 13th Avenue Promenade is one that was inspired by that particular pattern or helpful solution. And if you go to the 13th Avenue Promenade, you begin to see that there are a number of projects already developing along there. But here are some possible sites that have been identified for development along that street, areas that are considered sort of eminently not walkable and that could be used for something else, something better. Let's go take a look at some of these projects. I'm actually going to create a new one. Being that there are students essentially connecting 13th Avenue as an idea, there's the University of Oregon, and then there's a lot of student housing downtown. Why not create a project that is a local economic development project intended to create local goods from local resources? And we're going to call it Local Student Supplies, just as a temporary name here. So this is an idea that I'm going to pick a sort of random-esque spot here near campus. Here's one area that could use a little bit of help, just as an example of a place where there's parking at a street level, and that could be that the sidewalk experience could be improved here. So this is the spot I'm going to pick for this project, and I'm going to describe it briefly. This is locally produced student supplies, and a vision for the project, a local co-op incubator for local manufacture from local sources. So trying to keep, and this is just an idea, it's going to be an incubator. I want to go up for a moment, make it clear that this was a solution at the promenade level. An incubator can be a courtyard or a building, any number of things that allow for shared resources to take place and for the public to be invited into a place. So here's our local student supplies project, and I'm going to pick a physical example from the neighborhood or from nearby. Fifth Street Public Market is a courtyard kind of space on the inside, but I'm just going to grab a street view from the outside for now because local people will understand what I'm talking about, and that local knowledge is extremely important for making this kind of a site useful, because people have local knowledge of the physical constraints and interests and whatnot on the ground. I'm going to just grab this photo, the street view photo, which can be drawn on and annotated by everyone in the community. And this is an example of a courtyard incubator. project incubator. And so here you see, we have examples that we could take them from anywhere in the world, possible sites, and we're going to pick, I'm going to pick the one that we were looking at before on 13th Avenue. Actually, I'm going to just point out that most of these spots are already listed here. The residents in the neighborhood can begin a conversation about what and where things need to be to improve their neighborhood around certain ideas. So they have a general context in which they're discussing this neighborhood or district that they're trying to improve, and then they have little very specific discussions about what kinds of things, projects people are willing to start. They're very specific project pages, and then they try to match possible sites to projects along with examples that can be taken from other places. And that's just the beginning of the conversation that happens with urbanology.com. We want to also provide design tools that allow people to present and design in a more detailed way things that have life and that improve the life of the neighborhood, allow them to make places in their neighborhood that fit the neighborhood criteria and fit the needs of the project. We also want to provide economic tools. So the notion is a sharing economy that allows people in the neighborhood to participate in an active way, try to engage people in day-to-day activity of community-run or community-driven or community-participating projects in order to improve social justice, economic sustainability, local economic self-reliance, cooperation, democratic workspace, sound environmental practices, etc. So this is a just a broad toolkit that's based in the physical environment that is intended to allow neighborhoods to take control over their community development.